County Office of Planning and Development in September of 1999. So he's been doing that job for quite some time. And obviously Pennsylvania got the good news earlier this summer about the cracker that's coming. Of course, in June, Shale Chemical Appalachia's long-awaited decision about that multi-billion-dollar ethane cracker, it was announced, and the petrochemical complex will be built in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. And as we mentioned, our first guest, Byron Stauffer, he's the executive director of the Indiana County of Office and Planning and Development, which is directly to the east of where this ethane cracker will be built in Beaver County. First of all, let's say good morning to Byron. Thanks for joining us on Inside Shale.
Good morning, Kyle. Thanks for having me.
You recently held a conference or a panel discussion about how neighboring counties, how the area can benefit from this cracker plant coming to the region. And obviously there's a lot of this discussion going on in West Virginia as well. But just kind of talk about what went into your organization and some of the things you learned when your group got together to discuss this.
Certainly. This past Friday at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania campus, we're fortunate enough to have a convention center here called the Kowalczyk Convention Athletic Complex. And we hosted a panel of what we would refer to as, those in the know of what's going on with regard to this ethane cracker plant in different areas within the supply chain. So it was hosted or moderated by Bill Flanagan with the Allegheny Conference on Community Development out of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And Bill is well known in the region. He does a show, Our Region's Business, each Sunday morning, and has been on the TV newscast for many years. And so his organization, the Allegheny Conference, along with the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance, which was very involved in the attraction of the cracker plant to Beaver County. David Ruppersberger was one of the panelists, the president of the PRA. We also we had David Brocious with the Marcellus Shale Coalition, which is a member-based organization, of the natural gas industry, assisting with various advocacy in Harrisburg and D.C. on critical issues. So very much in the know of what's going on with his members. We had Craig Neal with Consol Energy, relative to, what impacts. Obviously, oil and gas drilling has been down, at least here in Pennsylvania, due to the market conditions. So we were interested in learning, what this kind of facility that would be hopefully taking some of the supply out of it. What would that do to those in the industry that want to start drilling again or drilling more actively? We also had Nate McElroy, who's a chemistry professor here at IUP, and so we were able to learn a little bit about the process and what goes into breaking down the ethylene to into ethylene and polyethylene and other resins and compounds. And then we also had the CEO of Environmental Service Laboratories and Environmental Land Surveying and Solutions, Joe Bezada, who also has a lot of industry knowledge. And so we had a panel discussion, and it was very informative in terms of what some of the opportunities might be to ramp up for construction, during construction, and then also the supply chain opportunities post-construction were the direct targets of the panel discussion.
Mm-hmm. Work is underway at the site. I mean, they're starting to prep it, and the construction will begin in 2017 on the plant itself. And initially, it said that construction on the plant will employ 6,000 workers with eventually roughly 600 permanent operational positions. So your community, you're directly to the east of where this is being built. It's going to have a significant impact in terms of jobs and employment, right?
Yeah, I mean, we believe so. I mean, we're part of the 10-county region of southwestern Pennsylvania. which is the territory of the PRA, the Pittsburgh Regional Alliance, and the Allegheny Conference. And, our friends over in Beaver County were fortunate enough to have a site that had all the amenities relative to the river access, to Class 1 rail service, having a site that would not be too far from the interstate. And as you mentioned, a lot of preparatory work has been going on to prepare the infrastructure and prepare the site for ultimately the construction. The reason why we, although it's 60, 70 miles away, we do have Class 1 rail, coordination. I mean, this is an energy community here in Indiana County. We have 3 power plants, coal-fired power plants here in our county. We border a 4th one in our sister county, Armstrong, to our west. So we have 4 major coal-fired power plants, in our shadows here, and so we have the rail access that we believe would, and we're also developing business parks here, the Windy Ridge Business Technology Park, and we have a corporate campus park. So we feel that with the work that we're doing currently for business attraction and retention, that we could, we're trying to get in the ground floor early and see what downstream opportunities that there might be relative to this cracker, and just the abundance of energy that we have in this region with the natural gas. We also have Sunoco bringing 2 major pipelines through Indiana County and southwestern Pennsylvania, the Mariner 1 and 2 pipelines. So there's somewhat of a convergence here. We also have, because of the power plants, access to the grid. So we're going to try to take advantage of those and, not only retain the companies that we have here and maybe help them grow into this supply chain, but also attract new companies to the region due to this, new access to the ethylene raw material.
Well, put this into perspective for us. How big is this? It's not your county. It's directly to your west, to Beaver County, where this facility is going to be built. But how big, how significant is it for your region, for your state, and really for all of us? I mean, we're 100 miles away from where you are right now, but West Virginia is going to feel the impact and the benefit from this.
Well, I think, we had a Sony plant in New Stanton adjoining in Westmoreland County, and we had a number of our manufacturing companies, our suppliers and vendors that service that large entity at one time. So again, we're just trying to provide information to businesses and entrepreneurs, educate ourselves as well as to what the opportunities are. Ultimately, I think, as you said in the opening of the show, that they're starting construction in 2017, and what we've been told, they won't produce ethylene until 6.5 years from June of this year. So we're quite a ways out, but ramping up for like I said, the construction opportunities, and it's we've taken a hit here with the natural gas industry. Coal is also struggling. The energy industry with the coal-fired power plants. So there are job opportunities potentially with our union halls and our skilled tradesmen, and so we want to get the information out there so people are aware throughout whatever contribution that they can make to this. We think in the long run, there's probably room in the region, maybe not here in Pennsylvania, but adjoining in Ohio and possibly West Virginia, that there could be room for 1 or 2 more of these types of facilities in the region. And the region that I'm referring to would be, Ohio, West Virginia, and southwestern Pennsylvania.
Right. Very good. What do you have now in terms of your county? What industry? What drives your economy right now?
Well, I might have answered this question a little bit differently at one time, but our largest employer is the university, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Our second largest employer is our hospital. We have some pharmaceutical companies here. That's probably our third largest. We have some institutional pharmacies that service Diamond Drugs. Has over 1,000 employees. They service nursing homes and large institutional facilities with pharmacy goods. But oil and natural gas. Back in the conventional natural gas drilling days, Indiana County was one of the leaders in Pennsylvania. We were drilling over 3,000 wells a year in conventional natural gas wells. That industry's gone away due to the Marcellus and now pending Utica access. But a lot of that's decimated. We had Halliburton here. They went to Ohio, where there's more of the wet gas and trying to ramp up for, maybe this cracker plant and where there's maybe some value. Our area here in Indiana County is more of the dry gas variety. So we don't have the liquids in our gas. So that kind of breaks maybe 30 miles. We're kind of right on the fringe of having that. But we have a lot of small to medium-sized manufacturing entities. Norma makes hose clamps, a German-owned company. Used to be Breeze Industrial Products, Clark Metal Products. We have a lot of small to medium-sized manufacturers. But we have a nice downtown here in Indiana. It's a great community, great quality of life. Like I said, we're investing currently in this down economy.
Mm-hmm.
We're investing heavily in business park development. There's a lot of work going on for roads and infrastructure and those kinds of projects. So we think we're positioned very well for the long term. We have, a number of trucking companies that are based out of Indiana County. So there's a number of different industries that, we think that we can, in the supply chain overall, that we can be a player.
Yeah, to just get out in front of it. I mean, that's the key, right?
That's the key. I think we were, certainly one of the first counties to have, this formal of a discussion. I know there's one coming up in Pittsburgh on the 21st. But I think, we had a pretty varied panel on the 30th presentation. We had good attendance and a lot of good questions. So I think it's a subject of interest, and there's no harm in getting out in front of it and knowing what our challenges might be to get positioned. It takes some time if you got to build something or do something. So we're trying to get educated so that the residents of Indiana County and Indiana County as a provides a workforce that the region can benefit. So we're doing a lot to connect ourselves. We've had our challenges over the years with transportation infrastructure, but PennDOT's doing a great job. When I first came here, we didn't even have 4-lane access to our county seat. So we fixed those problems and those kinds of things. So I think we're well positioned into the future to be a major player relative to providing a workforce not only for companies that are based here, but also, those in and around the region. There's job opportunities, and so we simply want to show that Indiana County is ready and poised, and we're ready for what opportunities arise.
Right, those are major projects. Getting the roads built. The way you describe your county, and we're visiting with Byron Stauffer. He's executive director of the Indiana County Office of Planning and Development. The way you described your county, it sounds an awful lot like Morgantown and Monongalia County, where this show is emanating from. We've got the university with WVU. We've got 2 hospitals, and we've got Milan. So you talked about the university, the hospital, and the drug industry being the top 3 employers. You can say exactly the same about where we're at right here.
Yeah, and the group that hosted the panel discussion this past Friday, and in my office we serve as staff. It's called the Indiana County Center for Economic Operations, and it was formed in 1994, but it not only consists of my bosses, the Indiana County Commissioners, but also our Chamber of Commerce. We have one Chamber of Commerce countywide. We have an industrial development corporation called the Indiana County Development Corp. My office also serves as staff to it, and it's the entity responsible for the business parks and multi-tenant buildings, office, industrial, those kinds of activities. We have a great presence here with the Indiana County Tourist Bureau. We have Jimmy Stewart Museum. We're putting on one heck of a Christmas festival this year. It's a Wonderful Life Festival in downtown Indiana, and there'll be some other kind of events around the county celebrating the holiday and Christmas season. And certainly not last but not least is Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and with all their service units and institutes and centers, they have an SBDC, Small Business Development Center, a Small Business Incubator, Center for Family Business, government contracting assistance. So, we have basically a one-stop shop to provide economic development, workforce development services to our community and our residents and businesses here. So that was the entity that put the event on, and we coordinate our marketing through the CEO. We call it the CEO, Center for Economic Operations. And but yeah, I think we're well positioned to assist businesses here, provide quality business park sites. We have businesses, tax credits, incentives, workforce training, and those kinds of amenities to help grow our part of the woods here.
Yeah, I'm sure many of the counties in the region will be doing similar things. I mean, it's coming. It's just a matter of time. You mentioned 6 or 7 years before the facility is actually producing, but 6,000 construction jobs, 500 or 600 permanent jobs as part of the Shale cracker plant coming up in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. That's in the near future, and we've gotten some insight here over the last 20 minutes from Byron Stauffer. He's the executive director of the Indiana County Office and Planning, talking about what they're doing to try and prepare. Byron, we appreciate your time. Very interesting, and I'm sure we'll visit again.
Very good, Kyle. Well, thank you very much for having me. And if anybody wants to check out what's going on here, continue getting some updates. We have our websites, www.Indiana County CEO for Center for Economic Operations.com, CEO.com, Indiana County CEO.com. And, we have a quarterly newsletter, so you can sign up to receive that. And we'll certainly look forward to talking to you guys again in the future.
All right, very good. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Byron Stauffer, Executive Director, Indiana County Office of Planning and Development, what they're doing to try and get ready for